Alright, it is time to rank another soundtrack, and this edition I'm going to be doing Batman on the NES. Like always, I'm just doing the stage themes, so there are 5 stages, but there are 2 song repeats, so there's only 4 songs to rank here, but I do think it's a soundtrack worth ranking. I'll preface this like I always do by saying that this list is strictly my opinion. It doesn't mean anything less or more than yours, so feel free to express your agreement or disagreement with this list. I encourage discussion and debate. So without any further ado, let's get on with the list. Number 4, Stage 3. The riffs on this one are kind of predictable, but it's still a cool chord progression. Both the verse and refrain have a very similar progression, but the verse is simpler, whereas the refrain gets more busy. Plus it goes up an octave or 2, so they still sound different between the variations and the register. Then after a couple go-arounds between the verse and refrain, there's an end section that segues back into the verse, and the reverb effect gives the end part a cool sound when it decays. I mean, the whole soundtrack has quite a bit of reverb with the lead instrumentation, but the delay effect on top of it is a subtle but cool way to end the loop. Number 3, Stage 2. This one's upbeat, catchy, and dare I say a little cheerful in the first half, at least compared to the rest of the soundtrack. It does get a little more brooding though in the second half, and there are some great drum fills in that section as well. Number 2, Stage 4. The intro is basically a solo, and then it kicks into a groove that has that final stage type feel, even though it's not the final stage. It does have the urgency of a final stage, and that's even compared to the rest of the soundtrack that has a pretty high intensity overall. One thing I like is how it's structured. There's the solo in the intro that I mentioned, and then it has a verse. Then the intro comes back in to break the verse apart from the refrain, but it has different bass accompaniment this time. It's single sustained notes in the intro, and then the second time the bass is pulsing, plus the beat is still going. Then after the refrain, we get the intro again with the sustained bass, but it still sounds different from the original intro because the drums are going. So you almost kind of get 3 different variations of just the intro. There's a lot of variety in the song, and I'm big on variety. I seem to subconsciously lean toward these quote-unquote final stage songs, even though, like I said, this isn't a final stage. I really could have put this one at number 1. It was really close, but I ended up going instead with Stage 1 and 5. This is the one that has the repeat. It plays in 2 different stages. This one acts as the first stage and the last stage, interestingly enough. Much like Stage 4, it does kind of have that final stage type feel, but not quite as much, even though this one actually is the final stage. And I don't think it's just because of the fact that it's the first level either. I think it makes more sense as the first level. But anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent here. This one is really upbeat, even in a soundtrack filled with these up-tempo songs, with busy riffs, busy percussion, not much in the way of space. There's always something going on at just about every beat. It's high intensity, the percussion is great, riffs are catchy, and the solo in the second half is really good. I don't want to say that it's the part that really made this number 1 for me, but I can't say that it isn't. I just think the whole package of this song, as much as I really like the package of Stage 4, there's something about this one that just gives it that edge over Stage 4 to make it number 1 on the list. So that's it for this list. Here's a quick recap. Number 4, Stage 3. Number 3, Stage 2. Number 2, Stage 4. And number 1, Stage 1 and 5. So that's it for the list. What do you think? What are your opinions? What do you agree or disagree with? What is your ranking? Feel free to leave any of this in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.